Today I'm going to show you how to market a real estate listing using YouTube ads. YouTube ads is actually a part of Google ads because Google owns YouTube and uses the same ad platform that Google ads uses when you're going to create the ad. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration here, show you how this works, maybe give you some inspiration. I know the platform changes a good deal, but generally you're going to see how this works and why it works. So I've got this video on our YouTube channel, and this is a YouTube video that we shot featuring one of the listings that we either have or had, I can't remember, on the market. Can't remember if it's sold or not at this point, but there's the video. It's got my partners there, Jonathan and Gary, and they're doing a little bit of a walkthrough of this home. It's a really nice home. It's I forget what it was listed at, $1 million, maybe 1.5. And so this is the video for it though. And in the video, it basically talks about the listing, shows them where it is, and just kind of really runs through the whole thing. I'm not going to play the video though because we're here actually to create a campaign for it. So let me go back over to Google Ads. You can see here's one of my Google Ad accounts, and I'm just going to select, see off to the left hand side there, I can expand that just a tad. I'm going to make sure that I've got the video campaign selected, and then from there what I can do is just click on this plus sign. This plus sign is going to say, new campaign, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new campaign here. When you get to this screen, it seems intuitive to choose something, one of these things. You might look at it and say, oh, I want sales, and I want leads, and I want website traffic. And a thing to remember is what this particular screen does is it just alters the future screens and settings that are going to be available on your campaign. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons that I get people saying that I'm having a hard time doing YouTube ads or Google ads is because they choose one of these things, and then one of these selections, they might say, I want leads, and then the things that they wanted to complete on the ad aren't available. And the assumptions that Google has about the settings and features in an ad campaign to generate leads or to get sales or website traffic might be different than your assumptions. And so I always recommend just creating a campaign without a goals guidance. Now from there, I get to choose which type of campaign that I'm going to do. Because we're running a video campaign on YouTube, we're going to select video. Now we're going to choose a subtype of the video campaign. You've got custom video campaign, you've got non-skippable in-stream, out-stream, drive conversions, ad sequence, shopping. What you're going to do, because we're marketing a listing, is just choose custom video campaign, because chances are your video is going to be longer than 15 seconds, and we don't need to get overly complicated with it. Also, you probably only have one video, not a series of videos where there's a sequence of them. And I know you might think to yourself, I want to get conversions, I want to get leads. Well, here's the thing. With these videos, what we're really trying to do is make sure we get as many people who are interested in seeing the video in the first place. Video, when you're marketing a listing, you want to be able to attract as many people who are interested in looking at this. And then from there, go down the process of conversion. You'll do that later, not as part of this particular ad. So what we're going to do is just select custom video campaign. Then I'm going to select on continue, and from here it's going to have me start completing some information. Now I'm just going to give this a video campaign name, and I'm just going to do CP, and I'm going to give it, I think this is, what was this, a 4908, and I think the address was Barclay Heights, so 4908 Barclay. That's going to be the name of the campaign. Then we got to choose a bidding strategy. With this campaign type, you can choose between a maximum cost per view, or you can choose between target CPM, which stands for cost per thousand. And I'm going to leave this as maximum cost per view. Now we need to give our campaign a budget. I can choose between a campaign total or a daily budget. I'm just going to create a $2 a day here. We can also edit the start and end dates if I want to, so I can have this start as soon as possible, which I'm going to leave it as start as soon as possible. And then I've got this listing on the market. Let's say I'm going to let this run. I've got $2, so I'm just going to let this run for a month. Let's say spending $2 a day to market this listing. So that's going to run for a month. Delivery method, I can choose between standard or accelerated. Accelerated just means that it will try to spend as much as it possibly can fast, versus standard, it'll spend the budget evenly over time. I'm going to leave it as standard. Now I'm going to scroll down and I get to choose between the networks. I've got YouTube search results. That's where people are actually searching. And then I've got YouTube videos and then video partners on the display network, which is part of all the websites and all the content partners that share the Google ads as well as videos on them. I'm actually going to unselect this because I don't have a tremendous amount of control, and it's easier for me to know this is my YouTube strategy. So I usually unselect the video partners on the display network and just leave it on YouTube search results and YouTube videos. For languages, I'm not going to specify a language actually. I'm just going to leave that here because the video is showing the real estate, and even if you're not speaking English necessarily, you get to see the real estate, right? So we might be, I think in that video we're talking about the real estate, but really you're there to see the real estate. The next section is for locations, and this is an important one, not one to overlook. Unless you're specifically marketing a listing in a very, very, very general, broad area. And by the way, I've done that. We've marketed homes that were really high-end homes, $4, $5, $6 million, and then plus. And so in those cases, what I do is I'll market that to a much larger area, including all of the country, for example, for a unique listing like that in our market. I know there's plenty of markets where $4, $5, $6 million is like a drop in the bucket, but here in Austin, where we're at, that's a lot of money to spend on a home. And so, that's where we're looking at maybe attracting other folks from outside of the area. But for most of our listings, including the one that I'm about to show you how to do, I'm not going to market for all over. So this location is important because that's where the person who's viewing the YouTube video is, where they are at, right? So I'm going to specify the Austin area. So I'm going to put in Austin. And you save this cool little Nielsen DMA regions version of Austin. I'm just going to go ahead and include Austin, and that will suffice for the location. You're going to want to use the location that makes most sense for you, right? So obviously your listing is not in Austin. Unless you're watching this in Austin, then hello, I'm actually filming this in Austin too. Anyway, I'm doing this in Austin. This listing is also, I'm marketing this to people in Austin. All right, I'm going to then go down and here choose from inventory type. And what this is your video is going to show up and it's going to play before another video, right? So if you've ever seen on YouTube where you're going to watch a video and all of a sudden an advertisement starts to play, and then you can watch it for like 4 seconds before you skip it if you want to just skip to the video, or you just continue watching it. So the video that's going to come on after that, they can place these in a broad range of types of inventory. So you can see what they recommend is the standard inventory. So you can see that there's some content restrictions here, right? If you go to expanded inventory, there's going to be potentially excessive profanity and other stuff that you may or may not want to be associated with. On the other side of it, you've got limited inventory, and it's going to limit what people are watching. Now remember, people are going to watch what they're going to watch. YouTube highly recommends that you just use the standard inventory, but I'm going to leave that up to you. You might want to try running it on standard inventory and see how that goes. But if you're feeling like, I really don't want to have, I don't want my ad to show up before anything where there's any kind of profanity in that particular video, then you would choose limited inventory. It's a pretty big difference. I was actually surprised. If you can look over here off to the side, and you'll be able to see what the available impressions are. So you can see right now it says 170 million when I select standard inventory. Let's look at what happens when it drops. And give it a second here as it processes. So it went from 170 million to 93 million. Now, here's the thing. This isn't actually going to go throughout 93 million. There's going to be like way more restrictions. As we go through and specify the audience, that's going to get even smaller. So you're going to want to pay attention to that, decide, is this going to be able to get in front of enough people based on the selection that I've got for the audiences that I'm going to choose, and my content, my budget, so on and so forth. I'm actually going to leave it on what it's recommended for standard inventory for this video. Then they've got this excluded content section, which is actually going to be fading out as long as you're using the inventory types that we chose previously. Then you don't need to worry about the excluded content. And I'm going to go ahead and just we can ignore all of the excluded content labels and all that kind of stuff because we're going to use that inventory option to be able to determine what our content is going to show up in front of. And let's see what's in this area here for additional settings. We've got where we can select the devices, right? Computer, mobile, tablet, so on and so forth, TV screens. Frequency capping, this is where if you would want to limit the number of times somebody could see your video. And I would not get too aggressive in this area because you probably don't know what that frequency is, and I do believe the algorithm is going to take care of a lot of that, and people do have to see things more than once in order for that message to sink in. And so don't just get all conservative and say, I only want people to see it once. I would let this run, see what the frequency is, and then if you want to decide to add caps to it, that's fine. Add schedule. This is important where this is important is if in your ad you're like, I don't know, like you're making an offer or you're asking somebody to call you, and you're, obviously if you were saying, hey, I really, in the video, and we're not doing this in ours because really, it's not what we'd want to do. We're marketing listing. I just want people to see it. But I guess, for example, if you were shooting a video where you were trying to get somebody to respond to an offer and you wanted them to call you right now, and the offer was going to expire at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's now 1 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, you don't want your ads to run because you want people to see it because you're not going to be answering a phone. I guess that would be a good example of when you would use that. But we're just going to let the ad schedule run all day because it's just viewing the listing, and I don't want to put any kind of restrictions on when they can see it. Then we get to this place where we've got the ad group name, and I'm just going to go back up to the top here because I'm going to copy the campaign name, and then I'm going to scroll down here and copy and paste that into the ad group name, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of description to the audience and what this group represents. So I'm just going to type in market, which if you're watching this will make a lot more sense in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to put in Barkley in market. So now I'm going to go down and I get to choose the audience of people that I want to see this. Now they've got some demographic targeting available. You can choose between gender, age, parental status, household income, all that kind of stuff. We're marketing this real estate, so obviously gender's not going to be an issue or something that we're going to focus on here. You could potentially unselect the options of the ages here. Keep in mind the YouTube algorithms, the algorithm is going to want to show it to people who want to see it. So maybe there are some 18-year-olds who can buy this home. I don't want to exclude them. I know that's not the norm. You also have these household income options. I'm actually going to leave all of these alone. And the reason why I'm going to leave that alone is YouTube has a more powerful, and Google has a more powerful option to market to folks instead of trying to use these basic level demographics. It's really not useful when you compare it to something like the other tools that they have, which is these audiences that they've cultivated and they've put together and that they build for us. And so they've got what we refer to as, let me just scroll down here. You can see I've got a number of custom audiences that I've created here. Audiences that I've created using the audience tool. I've got our website. I've got people who are, our YouTube, who view videos on our YouTube channel. And then you can see I've got these other audiences here. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to browse, because that's where I only have this because I've created a bunch of audiences. But let's go and select on browse. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select the option that says, what are they actively researching or planning? Now this is important. Notice this says below that, in-market, life events, and custom intent. So you look in here, and I'm going to choose these in-market audiences, because that means that people are actually searching for, Google's got all this data, and so these people are actually searching for these things that are in here. And here's what's the really nice thing about being in real estate is that there is a real estate category within here. So you can select real estate, and then they've got residential properties, and then residential properties for rent, residential properties for sale. I'm just going to put in residential properties for sale. I might even consider moving in relocation, because those people might be moving to where, looking at my area and moving into that area. So I'm just going to go ahead and put and select those two in-market audiences. And Facebook now is going to, not Facebook, YouTube. What are we using here? We're using YouTube. Anyway, so Google/YouTube, they're going to go out and they're going to go and look at all the people that they've defined as an audience who are actively looking at listings online. And so that makes our job of finding them a heck of a lot easier. You could even drill down even further, apartments versus houses. I'm just going to just leave it at residential properties and at that level. And so that is, see, you can see it, that's way more important. Like if someone's looking for a home for sale, isn't that more important than, let's say, how old they are? Right, or how much money they're making on it. If they're actively researching it, then the content and between the content and them seeing it, it's going to work itself out. And that's really where I see all of this moving towards. Now, you see that there's options for keywords, topics, placements. Because we've got this in-market audience for real estate, we can ignore all this other stuff. Yeah, you could get more and more granular, but it's not necessary when marketing a listing. Right now, we're reaching for showing this listing to as many people as we possibly can who are within the criteria, right? They're in Austin when they're seeing this. They're within the Austin area, and they've been looking at stuff for sale. They've been looking there. Google's identified them as somebody who's thinking of buying or selling a home because they've been checking out those types of websites. Now I'm going to come in here and I need to select what my maximum cost per view bid is going to be. And this basically says this is how much I'm willing to pay for someone to watch a view of the video ad. And currently, at the time of this recording, a view is considered 30 seconds. So they have to watch at least 30 seconds of your ad before you're going to get charged. So you got to select what your maximum CPV is going to be. I've got CPVs that range anywhere from a penny, a penny to 5 and 6 cents. So I'm just going to put in 0.04 is what on average I want to have my maximum CPV be bid for this. You should play around with that and see what your average is. That's what I'm setting as my upper threshold. And now I'm going to come in, I get to create the actual video ad. Now that we did all that stuff, the admin stuff, the logistics stuff, I can come in here. I'm just going to grab the URL for this video, and then I'm going to come back and I can just paste that video, and it's going to start eventually I guess I have to select this piece first. So then I have to choose the ad format, the video ad discovery versus in-stream ad. We're going to select in-stream ad because you want it to play before another video as opposed to being something that people discover. A lot more traffic this way. A lot more views you're going to get if you select it this way. So then you can see I've got some, and then you'll see a little preview of it there, mobile. Here's what it looked like on the desktop. And then over here I need to put a URL. So let's say they click on it, and where does it go? Well, I want them to go to the landing page for this property, and I don't have that pulled up, so I think I have it here. There we go. I had it in the video, in the description of the video. So I'm just going to take this and go there and go here and drop that final URL right in there. And then for the display URL, that's what's going to show up. That URL is way too long, so we're just going to cut some of that off. And I can add a call to action button right there. If I don't, just when they click on it, it does stuff. But I can actually put a button, and it's like I get 10 characters to describe what this call to action is. And I don't know, does see more fit there? Pretty much, see more. Maybe we can even go crazy and put learn more. Yeah, learn more is going to be that. And let's see, we've got 15 characters. Austin, well, let's see. Home for sale. How many characters is that? Home for sale gets us to 13. Gosh. I don't know if I can, I could put exclamation mark. That gets us to 14. Can I put in new? No. We'll just leave it home for sale for the sake of this purpose. There's some advanced URL tracking options. We can ignore that. We don't need to worry about that. And then you can also auto-generate for the display what the banners are. We're gonna leave that alone. But what I am gonna do, I'm gonna go back up here because I like my naming consistencies to be consistent. So I'm gonna go down here, and I'm just gonna put the ad name here, and just put this video. Okay. So let's see, what does this do? Default demo video, custom video. What's this? You can watch and share your video ad preview on YouTube, complete with any cards. Anyway, that's new. I don't think I've seen that before. Oh, default demo video preview. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this is. I haven't seen this before. Anyway, that's just looks like for getting a preview. At any rate, now what we can see, I'm actually done with everything I need to do. And what I can do, you can see like, hey, here's how many potential available impressions I'm going to reach, 8.7 million impressions. You can see number of views. I should be reaching between 290 and 750 based on my budget of $2 and a maximum CPV of 4 cents there. So that's based on your targeting settings, daily budget of $20. This is what I can expect to see, and what the results are. And you can always play around with that a great deal, but you can see what it's expecting the cost to be. You can see how much of the budget it believes it's going to spend. And I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to actually click on save and continue because this would create this ad. And I'm pretty sure now that I've looked at this listing that this listing is no longer on the market. I'm pretty sure. And I've already marketed this listing extensively. I mean, heck, there might still be like a recently sold campaign running. So I'm not going to select save and continue. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit, well, let's see what happens when I hit save and continue. All right, it says the campaign is ready, which means I created it, but I should probably go in there and turn it off because I don't want this running right now. So I'm just going to pause it. By the way, you can go in and pause and turn it on there. So there, we've done it. We've created an ad, a YouTube ad, using Google Ads to market a listing or a video of a listing. And you can see after kind of bantering around a little bit, we got it done. We got it done in a pretty reasonable time frame. And so if you got any questions, if you got any comments, you can leave them in the comments section below. I'll try to answer any questions that I can. If not, then maybe someone else will answer them for you. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you guys around. Take care. Bye.